Now, despite allegations of manipulation of the February 25th presidential election in Nigeria, more groups and people continue to give the exercise a pass mark. Now, the outgoing British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Catriona Laing, has urged Nigerians to be proud of the 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections, despite some technical glitches recorded. And speaking in Abuja, the British envoy described US democracy as fascinating despite the contestation on the 2023 electoral process by some political actors. Babajide, let's begin with you on this matter. Let's have your assessment first off on the recent presidential and National Assembly elections in the country. Let's have your assessment on that first.
Yes, I would say that this election was very fascinating to me. And a lot of the results did not even go the way I had predicted. To tell you how close this race was, we all expected that to be close. But if I was told that Tinubu will win 12 states, Atiku will win 12 states, Obi will win 11 states, and Abuja, which technically speaking is also 12 states. The Constitution sees Abuja as a state. It doesn't see it as a superior state, as some funny people are arguing. Because if the Constitution sees Abuja as superior to others, it then will say that you cannot be elected unless you win Abuja. But that's not how it is framed in the Constitution. But it's an argument that some people are making now to give the impression that Asiwaju was not elected. But the question to ask is, are you by this ridiculous argument suggesting that someone could actually win in all the 36 states, and because he didn't
win the FCT.
He can actually win 35 states?
Right, and he didn't get the FCT.
And because, it's still the same thing. Someone can actually win all 36 states, and because he didn't get 25% in Abuja, then can be elected. I mean, that's ridiculous. People should not take arguments to ridiculous levels like this, just to make a point. So, going back to your question, if you ask me whether APC will lose Lagos with Bola Tinubu on the ballot, I would have said no. If you told me that Buhari would not be able to deliver Katsina, despite even having an APC man as Katsina governor, I will argue with you. Of course, I will argue. APC alone as a state, as a party, lost 12 states. There has never been any election like this. An election that put money to shame. An election that put stature to shame. No matter how big you are in our country, you must earn your victory. You must earn it. You can't rig. The way people used to rig. What people now do is, my opponent is strong in this area, let me go and disrupt the election there. That's their best bet. But that they will now change the results. Honestly, Esther, in the past, 7 governors will not lose senatorial election. In this election, 7 lost. 1 even came third. That's the governor of Abia. Was pushed into 3rd position. And 1 lost to his former aide. Such things will not happen before. They will simply change the figures. Beavers has done the magic. Beavers ensure that it's only you that's the owner of that card, whose fingerprint it has in his record, can vote, not anyone else. In the past, all these cases of multiple thumb printing and all that, they could do it because there was no beavers. But right now, our election has been sanitized. Whichever way you look at it, look at Northeast, where Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu took his deputy from. APC won only 1 state out of 6. Could you have imagined that before? You couldn't have imagined that before. Let's face it. 20 governors lost their states in this last election out of 36. It's unprecedented. No one. Let me see that political historian in our country who will tell me that this has ever happened before. Let us talk about it, whether we are going back to 1960s.
Right.
It has never happened before. We've never had an election like this. In terms of its transparency, this is the best election we've had. And I'm not surprised that that envoy is telling us, look, you should be proud of what you have achieved. People are calling, out of pure emotions, they are calling the INEC chairman names.
A lot of unprintable names.
There's nothing they are not calling him. Some are even daring him to walk in public. I remember that Professor Jega, when Buhari didn't win the election in 2011, he faced the same heat. He went to see the Sultan. Buhari supporters told him. There are similarities in President Buhari's performance in the 2011 election and Obi's performance in this election. The only difference is that Buhari trumped him in number of states won and in the votes that he earned. Buhari got 12.2 million or so. Obi didn't get more than 6 million votes.
6.1 million.
But both of them, their votes came from similar source. Buhari's votes came from the far north. He didn't win in the south. Obi didn't win a single Nigerian state that has Muslim majority. Not one. Anywhere that he won, Christians are in overwhelming majority. Whether it is Lagos, there are more Christians in Lagos. I know that for a fact. Anywhere that he won, Muslims are clearly in minority. Minority. He didn't win anyone. Buhari didn't win any state outside of the core north. Back then, the framers of the Constitution have made it difficult for anybody who cannot win election beyond his own ethnic or religious cocoon to become president of Nigeria. That is why the route to the presidency is that 25% in 24 states. Obi didn't get 25% in 24 states. It is for a reason. It is because they want your support base to cut across. You don't have to come first. Tinubu has shown us in this election that you don't have to come first. You can come second, get close to the person who came first. And that's what he did in most places. Atiku dealt with him north. But in most cases, he got close. Look at Sokoto, look at the margin. Very narrow, but he managed, he took it like that. In Kebbi, he lost to the PDP, just as I predicted, but very narrow. So when you look at the way, because we always talk about incumbency power. When you see and you imagine the way incumbency was disgraced in this election, my sister, you know that this was an election with a different. Forget about the tongue twisting and whistling that we are seeing. This is an election that since 1999 we've never had an election like this. And this election has now taught people in power a lesson. They know now that they must go out. We are now seeing governors kneeling down now. Please. It wasn't before. They will win whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Our votes will not. But now, they're begging. Places that they didn't go before. You think they are not fools. They know that the chances of manipulating the process is very slim.
Very slim indeed.
Whether the transmission is done immediately after election or late, it achieves the same purpose. Today, if I like, I can check to verify whether they swapped my result. And as long as I'm able to do it quickly, we can proceed to the court to say, no, you rigged here. So it doesn't even have to be the same day. Those who are attacking INEC on that, they have a point. Valid because reason. You made a promise and it is incumbent on you to fulfill your promise.
Right.
But of course, they've told us, look, that they face problems. So, but at the end of the day, our election is getting better. Let no one tell you that, no, that is not, this is the worst election in Nigerian history. Just the way article is saying, no, it's dishonest. It's a dishonest man that will say this kind of election is the worst. How is it the worst? 2007, we saw what Obasanjo did. Obasanjo, Atiku's boss. In Ogun State, the votes tally that Obasanjo scored in Ogun State was higher than the number of registered voters. Yes. They were not even sensible in the way they were
allocated few days before the election.
Yes.
But let me get your thoughts on
this. There was a result
that
came out before election even took place.
We know what happened in those days. But no, going forward, looking at this situation, even though the British High Commissioner also observed that there might be some glitches, Nigerians definitely should be proud. So, but do you agree with the sentiment? Although Babajide has given his own position on this matter, what's your own take on this? Do you think these glitches at all should be addressed? Credible elections going forward?
Well, because you know that Nigeria, there's no democracy that is perfect anywhere in the world. And there is no system that is not subject to hitches or manipulations or inconsistency. But the fact remains that there's one thing that has been achieved in Nigeria. With the beavers, we have removed and reduced significantly corruption in our electoral system. Because you cannot lock yourself up in a room and start manipulating. And these beavers exposed the rigging, though it is still before the Federal Court of Appeal in Osun State. That beavers was it was the baptism.
Exposed overvoting.
It exposed overvoting in that particular state because it is not possible for you. But I think what Nigeria should do is that we should forget emotions. We should not allow our personal prejudices to condemn a system that has been tried. But people are allowing their personal prejudices to condemn this system. I am predicting that in the next 8 years, people will be able to sit down in their house and vote.
People are talking about emulating what we saw in the United States, for instance.
In their house or in their office, and you vote, and you put in the system. Because from your house, you can sit down. You know, those days, to send money to your ward in Ibadan from Lagos, you send postal order, some other thing, money order to the bank. Or that even if somebody wants to give you 2,000 naira, you travel to Ibadan and collect it. But now, in the comfort of your home, you can send it. So it is also possible. Because when we align the beavers, the NIN, and the other identification process that we have with our driver's license, every other thing. All the data that are contained in all these things can be used for the PVC. And when it is in PVC, which means with any device, you can even move to the nearest point in your local government and cast your vote instead of shutting down the country. Because what it means is that we always shut down Nigeria whenever we want to, and it is a significant economic. It is still saying that this election has imperfections. It's either because it's expecting a utopian state, which is not realistic in anywhere. Even in America, people are still saying that Donald Trump hired people from Russia to win the election. Because the Latinos, who are not used to voting, they came out to vote. Youth in Nigeria, who are not used to voting, they came out this time. But one lesson I want us to learn, all politicians must learn, is that they should forget their emotion. If you want to be president of Nigeria, don't use religion and ethnicity. It has proved conclusively that anybody who is basing his elective chances on religion is deceiving himself. Because this election cuts across all boundaries. Yes, if probably Katsina State and Kaduna and Yobe and one other state has delivered 100% vote to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they will have said that it was Buhari that helped him to win. This is significant. If he had delivered, if Envoy has delivered 90% of votes in Kaduna, Yobe, Buhari in Katsina, they will say that the man has helped him. Or that if governor of Lagos has delivered 90%,
what, this thing that you are saying reminds me of what someone said. But he said that the beauty of this election is that the three of them could not be said to have a godfather.
At all, none of them has a godfather.
None of them. You can't say Atiku has a godfather. he campaigned on his own merit and all that. Yeah. You can't say Tinubu as a godfather. Who is that godfather that you point at? And Obi, you cannot say Obi as a godfather. Even Tinubu, I mean, even Obasanjo, that people will say, okay, he's godfather. Obasanjo couldn't deliver his polling units for Obi. He lost in his polling units. You know, we've always said it doesn't have electoral value. So people didn't agree.
So I believe that for anybody who wants to be president of Nigeria, you should based campaign that are touching it, because I believe campaign more than the others.
Of course,
we need to go on a very quick break. We're still going to have more discussions on this very issue when